up guys, Dragon2020 here, and today we're ready to do a discussion video. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So what I was initially planning was I was going to update some of the older videos that are on the channel, right? I'm still going to update Power of Characters in Genshin Impact Part 3. I said some things that were just incorrect, so I'm going to update that at some point and fix it. I just wanted to make this quick video to talk about some new recent developments that I've come up with. So at the time of me recording this, I'm working on my second Realms video. I'm putting on the visuals and stuff like that. I already recorded the audio and the music and stuff like that. And I realized that I had so much that I wanted to do that I might not be able to make dedicated videos for all the stuff that I wanted to do. So I decided to probably just put the Turbo Saber driving in the background and talk to you just like this. So let's talk about a couple topics. So the Traveler being Archon level. So the Traveler being Archon level. There are 3 fights that people use to say that the Traveler is not Archon level. The Ryan Shogun fights, the Wanderer fight, and the Knave fight. So I'm just going to go in order of when they happen. So the Ryan Shogun fight, there's evidence that suggests that the Ryan Shogun surpassed the level of an Archon, right? 500 years ago, she discarded the Electro Gnosis. As I said in prior videos, Gnosis go to Archons, Archons go to Gnosis. So since 500 years has passed, since that point, the Ryan Shogun is in the highest tier or just straight up above Archon level in base. So the fact that the Traveler even fought this person should actually be an argument for him being Archon level. And I want to take a minute to talk about the general progression of the Traveler, something that I've done in the past. In the first arc of the game, the Traveler fights a Dragon Sovereign. Dragon Sovereigns scale to Archons, specifically when they don't have authority over their element. If you think that Venti was the weakest Archon at that point when he fought Dvalin, he was not. He was probably one of the strongest. Then the Traveler outputted 1/4 of the amount of energy that was necessary to take down Dvalin. So you could say that he was 1/4 Archon level just off of that. Later on, he goes on to fight Aishihad 2v1, ignoring that Aishihad got weaker over time because of erosion. You could say that the Traveler is now half of what it takes to be Archon level at this point. Now that he has Geo, now that he has Electro, you could say that he's 1/3. And as I said before, the Ryan Shogun should scale vastly above Archon level at this point. So it doesn't really matter whether the Traveler was Archon level or not at that point. He would have lost regardless. She was just too strong. And then literally the next arc after this, the Traveler fights the Wanderer, and he was using the Electro Gnosis, something that all Archons scale to, their Gnosis. So that leads into the second fight. The Traveler did not lose 168 times. The fight was looped 168 times. As you see in the last loop, Nihida, she pretty much stopped the fight, took a hit, then the Wanderer tried to take the Dendro Gnosis, and then Nihida ended the loop and said, alright, that was the last loop. Let me hook you up to everyone. Let's see if we could beat this guy or how we could beat this guy. That's important because the Akasha system does not restore people back to a certain time. They restore people to a certain position in time. As you see in the story, Dea, she pretty much got stronger the more the loop happened, and this lady who was sick got weaker the more the loop happened. So if we were to apply this to a fight, a person's stamina would not be refreshed. And that's important because the Wanderer is a puppet and does not have lungs, does not have a heart, does not have a respiratory system. He is a puppet and does not get tired. So the Traveler was fighting an opponent that does not get tired, all the while he was in this long drawn out fight against someone wielding the Electro Gnosis and having a size difference while trying to kill him. And I know people are going to bring out the Traveler pretty much got one-shotted at the end by the Wanderer. First off, he got mixed and then one-shotted. Second off, this was at the very end of the fight. As I just said, his stamina was not refreshed throughout the entirety of that fight. So that means this is a fatigued Traveler that got one-shot. And at the start of the fight, the Traveler was fatigued to begin with. After calling upon the power of wishes and having his power restored, he goes on to beat the Wanderer. He sidesteps his laser with his eyes closed. Then later on, he has the potential to do the same thing, but doesn't, because he's turning around and he's worrying about the Wanderer who's directly behind him. If he was paying attention, he would have blocked the laser or dodged the laser or moved the Wanderer out of the way. Either way, that laser is a non-factor at that point, and the Traveler could have beaten that mech by himself if he was given the time. And finally, we have the Knave. Alright, so I got something wrong. I thought the Fatui were not ranked in terms of power. I thought they were ranked in terms of order joined. They are in fact ranked in terms of power. Nahida was right. The top 3 people are Archon level. However, there is something that Nahida did not take into account, and that is Arlecchino beating Crisabina as a teenager and then getting older. I don't know how old the Knave is. At the time of me recording this, I didn't see that many Fatui Harbingers behind her when she was put in the position of Knave. I have heard that she is Conrian, which would make her hundreds of years old, but I've yet to confirm whether this is true for myself. So for now, we're just gonna say she's 40 years old, right? So imagine a teenager who one-shotted the 4th Fatui Harbinger, one step down from being Archon level, getting older and training throughout that entire time to like 40 years old. How strong do you think that person would be? Most likely they would be within the ranges of the top 3 Fatui Harbingers just off of that. Throughout the period where she was working with the Fatui Harbingers, she outright despised the Doctor, and outright said that if he wasn't a Fatui Harbinger, she would have offed him a long time ago. So she's potentially training to beat the Doctor right now, and there's this new region that's going to be coming out. The Doctor is over there right now. So we might see Arlecchino again, and she might be the one to do the final blow, or the dirty deed, however you want to put it. So the Knave most certainly, at this point, and at the time when the Traveler fought her, was Archon level, or at least in the higher ranges of Archon level. You could even say that she's comparable to the Doctor and the Captain even. It wouldn't necessarily be outlandish. And Nahida did not know this. She went to sleep a long time ago. Crisabina was taken out, probably within the time period of her being asleep, and she had no time to fact check. The Wanderer was just beaten, and she had to come up with answers to the Traveler's questions at that point. So there's information that she did not know and did not consider. So it's not that Nahida's statement was wrong, it was more so that it was outdated. As for the fight itself, I keep harping on this, but the Traveler did not use his elements throughout the entirety of the fight. But also something else that people don't realize is there were a bunch of useless people around the Traveler that could barely lift the Knave's shoes, let alone the Traveler. And throughout the entirety of that fight, the Traveler pretty much had to put himself in the way of the Knave's attacks that were aimed at them, because he legitimately thought that the Knave was going to kill them. And at the very end, this is very important, when the Knave's about to strike down these children, the Traveler jumps in front of her, and later on we learn if you're fighting the Knave seriously, don't look her in the eye. And the Traveler did not know this, and he proceeds to look her in the eye, and because of that, the Traveler was put in Tsukiyomi. In my Mafrika video, I pretty much said that the Traveler losing to the Knave in this fashion cannot be used to determine whether it's Archon level or not, because he wasn't overpowered and beaten, he was placed in a Genshutsu, and then the Knave chose to end the fight. If she wanted to, she could have taken out the Traveler, but she was like, let's just end the fight right here, and just walked off, but not before dissing her. And that's where people actually get confused. The Traveler was as strong as her and was capable of beating her, but didn't, because of too many factors during that fight that actually worked against him. Alright, that's gonna do it for this discussion video. Right now, I'm doing 2 videos. I'm doing Realms 2, as I talked about before, and I'm also doing a fight analysis video, the Raiden Shogun fight and the Wanderer fight, which is where I came up with some of these arguments. I'm gonna go into it a lot more in depth there, with a lot more like visuals and proof on screen, versus here you probably have just seen the Turbo Saber Raiden at night. I'm working on Power Characters of Genshin Impact Part 4. I haven't had anything recorded yet. After I get done with that, I'm going to do Speed of Characters in Genshin Impact Part 3. This is a discussion video. It's not meant to be perfect, and I just needed to get this stuff out there. So if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day.